I.S.U.P.K.
I'm going to give you a small history lesson. Pull this up right here. Read the title of this.
A film connects rat control and racism in Baltimore.
So this white man, he made a film about the rats in Baltimore and how he is connected to the racism that we all know about what's going on in Baltimore, how things is not equal at all, how we got it worse than everybody else. A white man made a film about rats in Baltimore and tied it to how it's directly related to the racism that you experience every day. The rats. Read this.
Woven into the film and supplying its most edifying parts are the sections in which Anthony shows how Baltimore's rat infestation and racism originate in and are enmeshed with the city's historical development.
The city's historical development have a lot to do with why you got rats. That's what it's showing you here. And I'm going to show you where the policy comes from and how it was created and pushed upon black people in Baltimore. This is something that they pioneered in Baltimore. Why you see rats on the ground in Baltimore is the reason why you're going to understand why we live in the way we are. The white man brought it out in a damn movie that just came out about the rats. Okay? Keep reading.
Illustrating the narrative with archival photography. Anthony begins in 1911.
So in 1911 in Baltimore, he's going to show you in America what was going on that has to do with why we living like this. This is a well thought out plan by the white man. Read on.
The year in which Baltimore strikes up an ordinance that prevents racial integration.
So in 1911, Baltimore struck up a law that said you cannot be interracially living in neighborhoods. That's what happened in 1911. You understand? You ain't allowed to live next to the white people was the law that they made in 1911. Read on.
6 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the ordinance unconstitutional.
But 6 years later, it went to the Supreme Court and they struck it down saying that it was unconstitutional. If you got enough money to move into that house that they trying to sell, then you should be able to do it. You understand? But you should want to live with your brothers. Read on.
But segregation moves to the private sector.
You understand? But it's saying that the segregation that they wanted to keep with that law, it moved to the private sector. You understand? White people have another way of disturbing you if they want to. If they don't get a law passed, then they go into a private manner of mode of operation that keeps you asleep and destroyed. That's what the white man does. Keep going.
Upscale white neighborhoods form covenants, barring black families.
So upscale neighborhoods in Baltimore, they had something called a neighborhood watch or a covenant, right? Where the white neighbors would get together and have meetings and make sure that you ain't getting into this neighborhood. That's how they operate. Read on.
Barring black families from home ownership.
You understand? Barring black families from ownership. They would get together and say, okay, well, Tom is getting ready to sell his house. You understand? So let's put it on the market and let all the white people know, because no black people is going to find out that this house is on the market and move in next to us. That's how they would operate. That's discrimination. Okay? Fine. You understand? Good.
Meanwhile, in the field of science,
all right,
Kirk P. Richter
in the field of science, what's the greatest science-led academia in Baltimore City? Read it again.
Meanwhile, in the field of science, Kurt Pete Richter,
in this great science in Baltimore, where is it at? You know it's Johns Hopkins University that I'm about to bring out to you right now. You understand? This scientist, Kurt P. Richter, read on.
a biologist at Johns Hopkins,
A biologist at Johns Hopkins, right? Now the whole department is called the Department of Psychobiology. You understand? The Department of Psychobiology at Johns Hopkins University. This is what this guy's created right here.
tests a newly formulated rat poison.
He tested a newly formulated rat poison in Baltimore. That's what happened. Read on.
By releasing the rodents into the predominantly black slums of Baltimore.
So what? They did what?
They releasing the rodents into the predominantly black slums in Baltimore.
So they was trying to kill the rats, and the white man at Johns Hopkins University, the head of the biology department, created a new rat poison, and he tested it out on black people in Baltimore. That's what he did from Johns Hopkins University. That's what they did. They poisoned the rats and doesn't know how the poison was going to affect the people that lived in the community as well. Okay? Read on. It gets even more nefarious. Read on.
In 1933, during the Great Depression, President Roosevelt created the Homeowners Loan Corporation.
You understand? So the Great Depression, the white man was suffering. So Roosevelt, he is the one that made projects. He's the one that used this home corporation loan to, you know, save these people from these bad loans and from losing their houses. You understand? All over the country. But he was the one that also started up these damn projects. That's what Roosevelt did. You wondering why you in the damn projects? Because Roosevelt, you understand, got together and made these projects for you to live in. Read on.
Bought bad loans from people losing their houses and made 10 to 15-year monthly payment schedules to buy houses.
You understand? 10 to 15 years, 30-year mortgage now. It's the same program that he came out with. Read on.
14 map makers from the corporation, all white, all men.
You understand? It was all white men, 14 of them, that came out of this home loan corporation that Roosevelt, and they made something for Baltimore. They made a map for Baltimore. Let me tell you about this map.
Create the Baltimore Residential Security Map.
They created the Baltimore Residential Security Map. And let's show you what this map had in it.
A graded map. Green is good, red is bad.
Read it again.
A graded map. Green is good, red is bad.
So they divided the city and said the green parts is good, the red parts is bad. You understand? I'm going to give you the new term for it right now.
That only exacerbates segregation.
It only exacerbated segregation. So they created a map and said the green side is good, the red side is bad. You understand? Read on.
Through a process known as redlining.
Redlining, that's where you get it from right there. That's where you get it from. Redlining the district or what have you. They'll turn the vote over and give the vote so that they can draw the lines on the neighborhoods and everything like that, so that your community never gets what you need while their community continues to prosper. Read on.
The mostly black and mixed residents of the red sectors were denied loans.
They were what?
They were denied loans.
You didn't get no loan if you was in the red sector, which they made these 14 white men when they redistricted Baltimore and put them on the map. They would not give you a loan. Read on.
And the banks wouldn't even invest in business ventures in these areas.
You understand? Why is certain areas in Baltimore always been jacked up? You understand? Always been messed up or what have you. Yeah, you in the red zone. They call them the Baltimore empowerment zone now. They got all this goddamn money they supposed to be spending to make certain neighborhoods better, but they always stay the goddamn same. What the hell is going on? Read on.
Redline neighborhoods stayed red.
Keep going.
In 1951, scientist David E. Davis disputed Richter's experiment.
Right, so he poisoning people. He didn't made some new rat poisoning. Now, I want to ask, Is rat poisoning an ingredient in heroin? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Really? You understand? Do they put rat poison in heroin? Okay, read on.
He argued that killing procedures were tedious, repetitive, and actually increased the rat population.
So this poison, it stopped working. The poison didn't work, or what have you. And he said, this is not going to work. You understand? So they had to go back to what really fixes up a neighborhood. Read.
He believed that the rat problem resided in the environment.
You understand? He understood something about the environment, with the services that you get. You understand? From the trash collection, from the water department, from the utilities being fixed, from the roads being maintained. Come on.
His experiments led to a city blocks being brought up to par on housing codes.
So the reason why there's rats running all around is because the city has been allowed to be boarded up. You understand? Everything allowed to fall down all over the city. That's why everything is jacked up. You can take care of the rat population if you clean up the neighborhood. But if you just poison everybody, poison everything, guess what? You understand? It's not going to work. Read on.
It took a scientist and his ecological approach to vermin management to clean up the slums, which was only a collateral effect of the effort to eliminate rat infestation.
You understand? So I'm going to drop it right there, but there's a lot more that goes into this about the experiments that Richter was doing over at Johns Hopkins. You have to understand what these white people are capable of at this point in time.
Trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good record. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord?